Welcome to Embrace Your Inner Boldness, the podcast dedicated to empowering you to live confidently, embracing all parts of who you truly are. I'm Melissa Henning-Frank, and I'm the founder, success coach, and consultant of Becoming Bold, LLC, and you can count on me to be your guide on this incredible journey of self-discovery and transformation. Let's get right to it. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast where we challenge the patterns, the people-pleasing, and the polite silence that keeps us from leading powerfully and living boldly. I'm your host, Melissa Henning-Frank, founder of Becoming Bold, and today we're digging into a bold truth. The culture of your workplace is not what's written on the wall. It's what's tolerated in the hall. Let that sink in. The culture of your workplace is not what's written on the wall. It's what's tolerated in the hall. The culture is not the mission statement, and it's not the ping pong tables or pizza days or casual Fridays. It's how people treat each other when no one's watching. It's what gets ignored or excused. It's how problems are handled or avoided, and today we're calling it out. So what does workplace culture really mean? Culture is the invisible system that shapes how people behave. And just like water shapes stone over time, if you're a visual person like me, toxic norms shape teams, silently but powerfully. And here's what you need to know. If gossip is tolerated, then that's the culture. If unclear expectations are the norm, then that's the culture. If people get away with toxic behavior because, in quotes, that's just how they are, that's the culture. Culture is what gets rewarded, repeated, and ignored. And that's why good intentions won't save a bad environment, because the boldest, most well-meaning leaders will still get crushed under systems that reward silence and punish truth. Let's talk about the hidden cost of avoiding culture work. I don't know how many times a leader or leaders have come to me and said, Melissa, can't we just train people on communication and conflict management and move on? And the short answer is, hell no, because if we don't look at the underlying systems, the unbroken rules, the favoritism, the unaddressed tension, then what we're doing with training is just putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. Let's talk about hard numbers for a second. According to Gallup, low engagement costs organizations over $8 trillion globally. Teams with poor communication experience higher turnover, lower morale, and reduced productivity. Employees who don't feel safe to speak up, and I guarantee you there are some in your organization, are 42% less likely to stay in their roles long term. So the translation is, if you're not fixing your culture, you're bleeding talent, time, and trust. Let's talk about 5 signs that your culture needs a reset. Let's get real about this. These culture issues don't usually show up on a spreadsheet or a PowerPoint presentation or even a barrier board. They show up in eye rolls, missed deadlines, and people silently counting down until their shift is over. Let's talk about what these signs look like in real life. Number 1, unclear expectations. This is where employees are asking, is this what you meant? And they're asking it a lot. It looks like people duplicating work or dropping the ball because no one was officially assigned or appointed and held accountable. It's leaders saying, just use common sense instead of clarifying deliverables. The short-term impact of unclear expectations is confusion, wasted time, and repeated mistakes. And the long-term impact of this is burnout from constant rework, resentment, and learned helplessness. People stop trying because they assume they'll get it wrong, and now you're a frustrated leader. Number 2, meetings that avoid the real issues. What does this look like? Important conversations that get pushed to later, but later never comes. It's people venting in the parking lot after meetings instead of bringing concerns to the table. It's the loudest person who dominates while the real problem solvers stay silent. And the short-term impact of this one is misalignment, surface-level solutions, and super slow progress. The long-term impact is distrust, disengagement, and a culture where honesty feels risky. Number 3, blame gets passed like a hot potato. And what does this look like? That wasn't my responsibility becomes the unofficial team motto. When something fails, people scramble to protect themselves instead of learning from it. And then accountability only shows up when it's time to assign fault. The short-term impact of this is you'll see finger pointing and low innovation because mistakes equal punishment, even if it's perceived. The long-term impact of this is psychological safety goes in the gutter and talented people check out or check all the way out and leave the company. Which leads me to number 4. People are disengaged or checked out. And what this looks like, if you're on a Teams meeting, cameras are off, mics are muted, and there's really nobody volunteering for anything new. It could be that emails get seen but not responded to for days. It could be that people out on the floor aren't interacting with teammates and they really don't seem happy to be there. You can feel the difference. It's a situation where there's no energy or ownership. And the short-term impact of disengagement is missed opportunities, poor collaboration, and low morale. The long-term impact of this is high turnover, absenteeism, and stagnation. Your team exists, but it's not alive. So if these are the conversations you're consistently having where you've got issues with turnover, you really need to look deeper. Number 5, top performers are doing the emotional labor. And what this looks like is the same 2 or 3 people always cleaning up messes, mentoring others, and keeping the team afloat. It looks like unspoken resentment growing. You might hear people say, "Why am I doing their job and mine?" It looks like leadership leaning on these people without recognizing the weight they carry. And the short-term impact of this is high achievers feel overused and undervalued. The long-term impact, those most valuable players leave and the team collapses under what they carried. Culture isn't just what happens during onboarding or retreats. It's in those small moments, those micro moments, the tone of a team's message, who speaks up and who doesn't, who's held accountable and who's protected. And if these behaviors are showing up, it's not just a people problem, it's a system problem. If even one of these signs hits home, then your culture needs attention, and not next quarter, it needs attention now. So what can you do about it? And this is where bold leadership comes in. If you're a leader, an HR professional, or just someone who cares about the energy of your workplace, here's what you can do. Get it all out on the table. Facilitate those brave conversations. Not venting sessions. There's a fine line between constructive and flat out venting, but we're talking about productive, guided dialogue. And that's exactly what I do in my team effectiveness workshops. Stop tolerating the behavior that contradicts your values. It only takes one person to model a new standard. Make accountability a team sport. Assign owners, due dates, and check-ins. Don't just talk about change, manage it. Change the system. Because here's what you need to know. You cannot create a bold culture without bold conversations. And yes, it might be a little bit uncomfortable in the short term, but what you're really doing is making things go much faster, more productive, better quality in the long term. Let's wrap this up. Workplace culture isn't just about being nice. It's about being clear. It's about being consistent. It's about being courageous. And it starts with asking, why are we tolerating that which no longer serves us? If you're ready to stop tiptoeing around the real problems and start creating a culture where people feel seen, heard, and safe to be bold, I would love to help. You can connect with me through my email, which is melissa@embracebold.life. That's melissa@embracebold.life. You can connect with me through my social media DMs, or you can tap the link in the show notes to learn more about my team workshops, my one-on-one leadership coaching, my Women Becoming Bold groups, and other free boldness resources. Until next time, lead with clarity, because clarity is kindness. Speak with courage, and never forget your boldness is the culture shift that your team is waiting for. Please be kind to your mind. Thanks so much for joining me on this episode of Embrace Your Inner Boldness. I hope you found inspiration and actionable tips to help you live more confidently. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss out on the latest insights and empowering stories. Please take a moment to also leave a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps us reach more listeners and be able to continue bringing you more content that uplifts and motivates. Empowering yourself and/or your team starts with embracing your inner boldness. When we stop playing small, we open the door to limitless potential. Remember, the only limit to your greatness is the one you set for yourself. Stay bold, stay fearless, and let's make this journey unforgettable.